What's up, guys? It's the first time Pat and I have done a duet this year in 2026. So, it's just the two of us here today. We had a couple of guest cancellations and some other things happened. So it's just the two of us. So we're happy you guys are here listening to us, and we got some kind of fun things planned to talk about. So
yeah, just came up with a few topics here that kind of relate to the show and our thoughts on it and everything like that. So we're excited to one-on-one again. It's been a minute.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I miss these. These are like fun for us just because Pat and I see each other every day, but we don't have like these kinds of conversations every day.
Yeah,
it's like a lot of like bullshitting and complaining about what we got going on with work or problems that we have or whatever. But it's
trying to come up with the next brilliant idea for marketing.
Right. What stupid video are we gonna go record today? Go make us look like assholes dancing on the fucking dude. That one turned out pretty decent.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah,
But yeah, this one, the questions that are a little bit deeper, the things that we talk about on the show and the things that we are constantly thinking about as men, as fathers, as entrepreneurs and things like that. So get to dive in a little bit deeper on some of this stuff. So we'll go ahead and get started. First things first. So, if your son became you, would you be proud?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think I've led a life that I can be proud of. Of course, we all have our faults. We all have times where we fall off and things that don't, go the way that they should or ways that, we envision them. But I would be pretty proud if my son kind of grew up to be very, very much, either one of my sons grew up to be very much like me. But I want them to be their own person. Like, I don't want them to feel like they have to follow in my footsteps, like doing real estate or doing jiu-jitsu or, doing whatever. I want them to completely be their own person and figure out, what they love and what, because like ultimately you're not going to be successful at anything unless you love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the true recipe for success is like having a true passion for it. We talked about it on that episode with Josh, and like the three different, kinds of fuel: motivation, discipline, and obsession.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And like, especially like ever since like, getting into like playing the guitar and like, that's like, it's definitely become like a little bit of an obsession, like
same.
Whenever there's a free time and I don't have anything going on and I'll just go pick up the thing and play it for 15 minutes. Like, it's a time killer. And it's just like something I think about a lot, but like it doesn't, I don't need motivation or discipline to do that. It's just something that I'm drawn to do. But then like, I think about things like work, for instance. Like, do I necessarily always want to be like going to make these phone calls or like going to these events or appointments or whatever it is? I don't always necessarily want to be, but like I am disciplined enough, and I would say it's a motivation thing too, but I am disciplined enough to make myself do it. I just think that that's a really good frame when you kind of like really think about things like, are you motivated to do it? Or is it a discipline that's going to require me to do it? Or is it just obsession? Like, is it something that I'm just like drawn to do?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I mean, I just kind of fell into this and, it's been like, is this something that I really love to do? And some days, yes, some days, no. So it's like, I don't know. It's kind of where I'm at right now. Like I said, I'm still, it's where the discipline comes in, pushing forward, doing the things that I know that I need to do to keep this up and running and keep it successful. But at the same time, like, what else can I add to what I'm doing or be better at or focus on that I do enjoy, that brings back like that excitement that I had when I first got in the business. And, I'll be honest. I mean, a lot of that started to fade with the divorce just because, there was a lot, like I had to take a step back and realize like where I had failed as a husband. And that was, I was putting everything into this to get what back,
Right.
A paycheck, like notoriety because of how much volume I closed. When
you think about that, like it
It's
really
not
doesn't
important.
matter.
No, it's not
It
important.
doesn't matter. Your kids don't give a shit about that.
No, they just want you there.
Yeah, my kids do not care how many houses I sold or how much money we have in the bank. Like they care if I am there present with them. Like, like there's times where like I'll get home and be like, all right, Calvin's like, let's go do this, and this. I'm like, okay, buddy, let me just like get on my computer. It just take me 5 minutes. I got to do it. And he like, but why? Like, it clearly, like it means nothing to him. Like, yes, this is an important thing that I have to do for work. And like, it'll only take me 5 or 10 minutes, but like it's pretty pressing right now. It kind of needs to get done, and then there's other times where things can wait. But like, this instance, it was like something I kind of needed to take care of right then and there. And you could just tell, like, he's like, but like, why? Like, but like, we got the monster trucks right here. Like, don't you want to go play monster trucks with me? Like, we just got this new one and I got to roll it around.
Right.
His new thing is he likes to like taking him up our hill and just like setting him in the street and watching him roll down the hill. Like that's his newest thing. And like, he's obsessed with, ever since we went to that Monster Jam thing, with Brandon, dude, he has been obsessed with
That's
monster
awesome.
trucks. Well, and now Gina, she's a fucking sucker for like a hunt. Like anytime you can, like anytime something is difficult to get, she's obsessed with it.
Okay.
Like she's got to find it. So at Monster Jam, they sell these like monster trucks. They're about this big, and
Like remote control ones?
no, they're just like die cast like metal ones. And he, at the Monster Jam place, they were like $40 a piece. But now we're able to apparently the same ones are available at Targets and some Walgreens, and they're $10 or $12, 10 or 12. But if you go online on Target or you can't buy them online. Like you just got to show up to the store. And Gina is like, she's like convinced, they make these hard to find, so it's like a thing to get. And like sometimes we'll go in, like the other day. It was like last Saturday, and we've realized Calvin does well when he has incentives for things. So like, we went and just preemptively bought a handful of these monsters. We went to like 3 different Targets, like back to back, because we had nothing to do on Saturday. And so we went from like the South County to Fenton to Arnold, and like went to hit 3 different Targets and bought like 4 different monster trucks. And now he knows that they're in the house.
And they're somewhere.
But like he's gotta earn them. And so it's like been our new thing that we can kind of like hold over his head if there's like, if we're going somewhere, or, like, all right, buddy, well, if you're really good here, like you can kind of and that's been our newest thing. And he just fucking loves monster trucks now, and he just can't stop talking about when the next Monster Jam's gonna be. And he thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And I had so much fun being there with him, just like seeing him so excited, because that was like the first like event type thing where he's like had to stay in a seat, and he actually did, and it was awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My boys we've taken them before, and they just weren't fans.
Really?
Yeah, that's too loud. They're not big with loud noises, so they were like, I'm not. We don't need to go.
Yeah, he'll like yesterday he was asking me, he's like, about like what tricks a specific truck did when we were there. I was like, buddy, I don't remember. When Mayhem went, did he fall over? I can't remember. And I'm like, oh, buddy, I don't know.
Your memory's better than mine.
I don't know. Like, come on, man. I can't. Like earlier this morning, I was trying to remember like what I did on Tuesday, and I was like, fuck, what did I do on Tuesday?
I have to go back and look at my calendar.
I literally did. And then I was like, but like there was like a gap of like 3 hours that I didn't have in there. I was like, what the fuck did I do in those 3 hours? And it took me like 10 minutes to remember. I was like going through my text messages, like looking for like cues to remember. But man, our memories are, it's crazy how much shit I don't remember. Like if you think about all of the times in high school and college and all like the fun things that I did, man, I mean, I remember some of them, but I don't even remember. I bet it's like 10% of the shit that actually like if I could, I really wish that like you could go back and like watch memories. Like you ever seen like Harry Potter, how they like goes in and like pulls the memories out. Like I wish there was a thing like that. You could just like go and watch, like go back and watch, like a fucking
home video.
Yeah. Like a home video style, like first person view of like what you did like that weekend in high school or something. Like
that's what those new meta glasses are for, I guess.
I mean, it would be cool.
That would be cool.
It would be cool. But anyway, we can we move on to the next topics here.
All right.
But here the question is at what point does increasing income stop improving quality of life and start reinforcing poor financial identity patterns?
Well, I mean, if you watch, I mean, Chris Williamson just had that whole episode with who's the artist?
Oh, did you watch it, John Bellin?
Yeah, we'll watch what
Oh, yeah,
he
we
was
got
talking.
pieces of it
Yeah,
here,
and he had that quote where it's like, you know, billionaires or like something about poor billionaires.
Well, yeah, it's like you've never he's like I've never met a billionaire that is like happy where they are. They're always kind of chasing the next thing.
Right.
Like there's it becomes a game of like, a scoreboard, and the scoreboard is your bank account,
Right.
and you're just kind of like wanting to get that number the highest. Like I've heard, I think in another podcast, this guy was talking about how, he's got a billionaire friend and he feels he's got like, he's like, his net worth is like $6 billion or something. But then when he hangs out with his friend who's got like 50 billion or something, like he feels poor. And it's like putting that in perspective. It's like, and I get how that can be. Like I can understand. I mean, I can see how it is. It's like,
look at the history of lottery winners.
Yeah.
More money doesn't change your bad spending habits.
Right.
It just increases them. Now you just got more money to spend.
Yeah.
And so, it's where it comes back. Like, I think that the guy sold out concert in New York, and him and his wife are driving back in the minivan.
Yeah.
And stopping to get gas.
He's like, man, I forgot to fill up the minivan this morning, and we gotta stop in this like shitty neighborhood to fill up gas after I just sold out $26,000 or 26,000 people stadium. I have to, I'm driving, got the kids loaded up in the minivan, and I'm driving back. Like that podcast episode with John Bellion and Chris Williamson. That was a fucking really good one, man. I was, and I'll be honest, like I didn't really know who he was, but like, that episode's a few months old, but he had referenced it a handful of times in other episodes, like that I had listened to. And I was like, well, okay, I got to go back and listen to this one. Cause he brought it up like 2 or 3 times now. And I'm like, all right, there must've been something to this one. And I'm like, really glad I went back and listened to it, cause it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. They did a good job.
Yeah. On this topic though, like I heard Brian Callen once say this, but it was like he goes, the amount of money you're making, once you get to the point where you can go to a restaurant and not look at the price of the things you are ordering, like that's the point. Like that's enough money for me. And I was like, I think that's a really, that's kind of a good frame to look at it. Like when you get to the point where you can not think about going to spend like you spending, $250 or $300 on a dinner or something. You've taken, your wife out for a nice dinner or something, like, and you're not thinking about it, like I think that is a great like frame for like success, I guess. When you can get to that point where you can go out and eat, not worry about the bill, or like go grocery shopping and not like be penny pinching about every single dollar you spend. I think that's the point where you're like, okay, I think I've made it. Yeah. Like, cause anything after that is just like, it's bullshit. Like you get more, the more shit you get, the more like you realize how much like getting things is fun, not having things isn't fun.
Right.
Like, the chase of getting the thing, like that's the fun part. But like once you have it, it's like you get sick of it. Like anytime you get like a new car or anything, you get so excited about getting this new car, but after you've driven it for 2 weeks, like it just becomes normal life. Right. Same thing with like a house. Like once, a house is going to always be it's a place where you sleep, a place where you hang out on the couch, watch TV, eat food, like, and hang out. Like it doesn't have to be like when we moved into our house that we have now, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I love our house a lot more. And like our quality of life is better, but like it doesn't have like our day-to-day life hasn't changed. Like it hasn't changed the way we live. Right. It just like is made, cooking things a little bit more convenient because we got more counter space, or like, oh, okay, now we got a 2-car garage. Okay, well, we can still only park 1 car in there because we have so much bikes and scooters and bullshit now. But like, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. Like as long as you're at a point where you're like happy, I think that's what really matters. But like the whole happy thing is like,
that's an internal thing.
It's such an internal thing, and it's. Are you ever happy all the time?
Fuck no.
No. Like, no. You're never, there's always going to be, highs and lows, and we're going to have shitty days, and then the shitty days make the good days even better.
Well, think about it, because if you're happy all the time, how do you know what happy is? Because you don't have anything bad to compare it to.
Right.
And it's just like, yeah, I mean, no, you have to have the bad days to make the good days that much more memorable and that much better. So
Couldn't agree more, man.
yeah. All right. Is comfort ruining the modern man? Let's see. Do you think our brains are confused right now? Like we're wired for challenge, but living in a world that remains all friction?
Yes, I think so. I think I think life is just so easy now as far as like none of our like survival, like our natural instincts of, shelter, food, shelter, food, safety, like those are all pretty taken care of.
Right.
Like, like if you're living in where we are right now and, in this day and age, like chances are most of those things are taken care of, like food, shelter, like that's really like kind of what you need to survive.
Right.
And like, that's most people have that. I mean, I'm not going to say that there's no one out there that isn't homeless or isn't struggling to eat, but for the most part, like we're doing all right. And I think that has made people, they look for other problems. I think we're naturally like programmed to solve problems or like overcome things. And now it's like there's not as much to the things that really matter. We don't have to overcome. Like they're just kind of naturally there. So like we create problems but that's why I think it's important to like, artificially create like difficulty, like with exercise and doing like challenging things. And so like, I think our bodies have a physical requirement. One thing, like I know that I do not perform at my best if I am not exercising on a
Same.
regular basis. Like if I'm not taking care of my body, then like everything else around me crumbles. And that's, I think, why I've been so disciplined with it over like the last, like 10 or 15 years, really. I mean, like there just hasn't been a time. I mean, it was my freshman year of college. I like stopped working out, and that was in 2011.
Yeah.
And I've been working out consistently since then. And I've like never really, the only time I've ever taken off was like for injury.
Right.
Like I'm always doing something at least 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're not consistently doing that, like if I, even when I take a day or two off, like I feel off, like I feel, and then I'm like thinking about how that would compound if I went a whole like month without exercising or like exerting myself in any sort of way, I would be a fucking mess. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that just feel like that. And they feel this level of anxiety, and they feel like, that's a word that I fucking feel like just gets thrown around so much, and it frustrates me, to be honest with you, because I'm like, what? Yeah, I mean, people that just say that they have anxiety, and I'm sure they have, because really, what is anxiety? Anxiety is like, when I think about anxiety, it's like you're worried about something, like you have something looming over you, but like the antidote for anxiety is action. And I think that if you are constantly like putting yourself and challenging yourself and doing things that are difficult and things that make you think and things that challenge you, like, I don't think you have time to be anxious.
No.
Like you're too busy, like figuring things out or solving problems to be worried about the problems. I think that if you're like just like an anxious person, then there's probably something in your life that you're not doing that you need to be doing.
Right.
Like, I think that's really what anxiety boils down to me.
Well, and I mean, honestly, I think it helps that we're in the real estate industry, because I feel like it's always something. There's always a problem or something that needs to be solved, and that we're always focusing. I mean, the call that I had before we hopped on here, that was a last minute thing. And it's like, all right, well, as soon as I heard it, I just listened. When she told me yesterday, I was like, all right, problem solving mode. How do we solve this problem? Like, there was no time to get anxious or worried about it. Like, all right, here's the problem. Here are multiple solutions on how we fix it. Do I want to take those? No, let's find the route that we're currently on and just be done with it. But if not, and we can't get this through, we've got options. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah. Just look for the, next one. No one's coming to save you. How does adopting a full personal responsibility alter a man's locus of control and long-term trajectory?
I mean, being a single dad with no one here, really my ex-wife and her fiance, my parents don't live here. I mean, got family here that I'm not that close with. It's not like anybody I could lean on, but, yeah, so I mean, I've been doing it by myself and for a long time, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. It's forcing me to step up and do what I need to do to provide for myself and my kids and things like that. And, it's not easy. I don't have dual incomes. I don't have two family income, and it's just me. So that it can be, there's a lot of pressure there.
Yeah.
And, sometimes some months are better than others, but if you, like you said, have the discipline and focus on what you need to focus on and control what you can control, it's okay. I don't need someone to come in and save me. I don't want someone to come in and save me. It's just one of those things. I think too many people get away from that. And you see, and that's what, I mean, it kind of all correlates to what we've been talking about already, where like they get comfortable, and then that leads into that anxiety, that leads into all these other things, like, having these bad habits, losing these disciplines, losing all that stuff. If you're thinking like, hey, this is me, yeah, it would be great to have some help there. But if you're focusing on what you need to focus on, like if you continue to focus on that and then you add somebody to your life, that's only going to make things better, but you still have to continue to focus on what you as a person need to do, because it can be stripped away from you like that.
Yeah. 100%.
And I saw that firsthand. I feel like I was, and that's why I think I've gone through the most growth since the divorce, because I got comfortable. I had my wife at the time, and we had good income coming in for a family of 4, and things were comfortable. And it's that those uncomfortable moments that as a man will really test you and show you what you're really made of.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the whole like no one's coming to save you thing, I think that's something that I as a parent, I think about like I feel like my parents I think my parents were awesome and did a really great job as far as like teaching me work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
Like they showed me from an early age, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like I never like wanted for anything, but like once I got to high school, like it was pretty ingrained in me that like if I wanted a car, if I wanted to do all these things, like I had to provide them
Mm-hmm.
myself. Like my parents helped me with shit, don't get me wrong. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I bought a car, like I bought like I want to say it was like a $4,000 car, and they like split it with me essentially. So they paid for half the bill, but then it was my responsibility from then on to pay for gas, pay for insurance, pay for oil changes, maintain the car, things like that. And like I feel like that was something that like taught me a ton of responsibility, and like I had to get a job, I had to do all these things, and it kind of like framed, okay, so this is how things go. If you want things in life, they don't just come to you. Like
Right.
my parents aren't just gonna give them to me. Like I've been very like independent in that way, and I think that that's like huge. And I think there's probably a lot of parents out there that really kind of hold their kids' hand through life, and you and I have seen it firsthand in our industry as far as
Mm-hmm.
like the home purchasing process, and like how involved some parents are. Like me personally, like all the houses I've ever bought, like my parents didn't even see until we closed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, don't get me wrong, like I think their opinions are important, but like this is my life. I'm
Right.
the one that's got to live in this house,
Yeah.
like not them.
Right.
Like if I make a mistake and I buy something that's a piece of shit, like and that's gonna fall down around me, like I'm the one who has to live with those consequences.
Right.
And like I don't need them to. I think I need to learn those lessons myself.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No,
I don't
my
need them
mom
to-
was pissed when I bought my first place.
Really?
Yeah. She hated it. She's like, because I didn't tell her.
Yeah.
I just bought it. I put it under contract, and she's like, well, why didn't you should have done this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't. That's something for me to learn now.
Right.
Now, guess what? Now I know with my clients, like when it comes to buying a townhouse or a condo, these are the things that they need to put into the contract. And I have, every time I have a client that's in there, I always tell them, like, especially when it comes to condos, it's just, these are the things. But it took me doing it on my own. And obviously my mom had been in this business for 47 years. So probably like would have been a great resource for me to talk to throughout this process. But I didn't. I did it on my own.
Right.
And worked out well, but it was not the greatest. I mean, it took a lot of money to get it to a good place.
Yeah.
But hey, like I said, you live and learn.
Yeah, you learn.
Like,
you learn something.
yeah,
there,
exactly.
for sure.
Exactly.
And like, hey, it worked out all right.
Right.
It's not like you lost your whole everything on the house. Like
made a ton of money on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it works out, and like it just, I've realized that over the, it's just, it makes you realize like how different people grow up,
Right.
and like how some people just kind of have they like need their parents' approval before they do anything.
Well, and I think honestly, like if you look at it, it's through the different generations, and it's interesting to see how each generation now is becoming a parent, because I feel like my parents, so like my dad's dad passed away when he was young, and then my grandma remarried and he passed away. So my I didn't really have a father figure in his life. So when he became a dad, that was like, he's like figuring it out on the fly. All right. And I'm not going to say my dad was perfect. Nobody is, but he did the best at how he knew how to be a father. And he taught me a lot of shit and taught me a lot of good stuff. Obviously there was some things in there as well that, I'm like, but that's on me to recognize and not bring over and put onto my kids. Right. And like, all right. 'Cause I mean, going back to the very first one, yes and no. Would I be proud if my kids were like me? Because ultimately we always want our kids to be better than who we are.
For sure.
And so would I be upset that if he turned out to be me? A little bit, because I want him to be better than me. But at the same time, I'm not going to, like, I can't be too, I hope there's certain aspects of me that he is, the emotional intelligence side, the mental toughness side, the work ethic, like those things. But as long as he's better than me, great. And I've seen it, like, just from the reports that we get from the teachers, like I'm super proud of those boys, for both of how, like, already at a young age, like the emotional side. But, I just think, with them, like I always try, like if they get hurt, like I'm not running to them right away. Like I'm like, let them sit in it. Let them like, hey, and then come and talk to them and like, hey, what's going on? Like if they get into a fight, let them figure it out. Yeah. Like with each other,
We've been doing that with our kids in the cul-de-sac lately. Is like, they start fighting over toys, and I feel like, one of the parents would kind of always jump in at some point.
Right.
And now we're like, hey, let's just let them figure it out. Let's see what happens here.
Right.
Someone's going to probably end up in tears, but let's just see how
right.
it goes.
Once things elevate to the physical level, then we can kind of step in and referee that. But even still, like, I don't know, it's that whole fuck around and find out model, My youngest is insane. He's crazy. He is he's fearless. He's not afraid of anything. Like he will, like, I remember when he was like, I don't know, 18 months, he climbed up one of the chairs onto the countertop and was standing there looking at me and getting ready to swan dive off of our counter. And I was like, that's not a good idea, buddy.
Literally, Theo did that the other day. All of a sudden, me and Gina look over and he's standing on the bar stool. We're like, what? How we didn't know you could get up there. Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Like, whoa, okay.
And it's one of those where it's like, yeah, you want him to learn, like, hey, that you're gonna get hurt if you do that, but at the same time, you're like, yeah, that's something that can seriously injure them.
Well, yeah, I was telling Gina, I was like, that's like, for his like size, if he falls off of our island, that's like us falling off the house.
Yeah,
like if he's 2 feet tall and
right.
that's a 5-foot island or 4.5-foot island.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
that's like us being on the first floor.
Yeah, and fucking taking a header onto a hardwood floor.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's gonna hurt.
It's gonna suck.
Yeah.
So, but next one. Most men don't want success; they want applause. Do you think social media has made guys chase looking successful more than actually building something?
Yeah,
100%.
for sure.
Yeah,
like 100%. Like I think that social media is such a highlight reel of what life is really like. As far as like people rarely post their, you know, when things go shitty. Like they're usually not posting that on social media for everybody to see. They post the highlights, the closings, the, you know, the fun moments, the exciting things, the fun things you're doing with friends, or the, you know, the big exciting things. People don't post the mundane, like, or like when something goes wrong, like, unless it's like something maybe that they're like wanting sympathy for, or I don't know. But yeah, I think that I think we chase this like vision of how we appear online now more, you know, than it's, you know, it's still relatively new to us as far as like a human race. Like,
well, that whole build a brand, like everybody's got to have that it brand, and I'm just like, I don't know. I think that's why it's funny the shit that you and I do, because we're poking fun at that.
Oh, for sure.
Like, but at the same time, like, I don't know. It's I mean, you shouldn't be chasing the applause. You shouldn't be chasing that. You should be, you know, you should be going after what we talked about, what makes you happy. That's, I mean, the internal stuff, you know, doing the struggles, working through the struggles and coming out on top, like building that.
When I hear applause here, I don't think like, cause I'm sitting here thinking like, how would I feel? Like what feels better to me? Like when I have a big closing where I make a nice paycheck, or what feels better, that, or like me coming home and Gina being like really thankful. Like, you know, she said, "Hey, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for everything you do for this family."
Right.
Like that means more to me than the check.
Right.
And that's when I hear like, we want applause. Like that's kind of how I'm thinking. I'm not like thinking of a room of people applauding me, but like even like just Gina saying like, "Thank you so much for this. You're thank you for taking care of us."
But even like putting it on social media, chasing, like that's what when I think like,
okay,
that's the applause that I'm
frame it like that. Yeah. I'm thinking more like the in-person, like one-on-one, like, thank you so much for what you do, versus like like everybody thinking I'm so awesome on social media.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't post a whole lot of closing pictures. I mean, if the agent wants to take one, and I'll be in it, but I mean, it's one of those things where it's like some deals are easier than others, and it's the ones that are tough. Those are the ones that I'm most proud of.
For sure.
The ones that nobody else wanted to touch, the ones that another bank couldn't get done, or another mortgage company couldn't get done, and figuring it out and getting those people. I mean, it's a stressful time, and now it's made even more stressful because they're already told, like, they're under contract and they're told no, and then figuring out how to get out of that and how to make it like, all right, hey, like that's what I chase, like the tough shit.
Yeah. Well, and those are way more rewarding than those ones close. Like,
for sure.
It feels like, you know, especially when you have an easy one. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to say I don't want easy deals, but those shitty ones make you appreciate the easy ones. But like I feel like you make your money. You earn your money on those hard ones.
Right. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
For sure. Your bank account doesn't reflect your discipline.
It does reflect your discipline.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I read that wrong. Your bank account reflects your discipline. How have you noticed that some guys who can't stick to a workout plan also can't stick to a budget? Man, I think it just kind of boils down to that, like,
discipline.
How you do one thing is how you do everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're out there excessively spending money on things, and you know, if you know things are slow or tight or anything like that, and you're out there, you know, that's. But I mean, also at the same time, you know, I feel like it's okay to reward yourself, but at the same time, like, do it smartly.
Well, yeah, do it within your means.
Right.
You know, like, you know, if it's just because it goes
to the keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah. And you don't need to have I think living below your means, that's the key, man. Like, cause like, that's what you see with like all these people these extremely like uber successful people, like they just start buying nicer shit, and then they gotta keep buying nicer shit because then they see their neighbors got the BMW. Okay, well, if they drive a BMW, I want to drive a nicer BMW. Or okay, like they live in that kind of house, I want to buy this kind of house because I want to be where they're at.
Yeah.
And like, but then it's like it snowballs and it just keeps going. And like, wait, at what point are you like, okay, this is a life, this is not a comfortable life anymore. Like I have this huge nut that I have to make every month to like maintain this lifestyle. And like, man, that can be fucking stressful because it's like, especially in our industry, like how shit can just go awry so quickly. I mean, you can go from making, you could like a $15,000 paycheck can fucking disappear in a phone call.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just like,
Shit.
You think you're making, oh man, I'm going to close this big deal and, make this great commission. And, all of a sudden someone's like, all right, we don't want to buy that house anymore. Okay. Well, or actually we don't want to buy a house at all anymore.
Right.
Okay. Well, that just fucking vanished in front of me and I have no control over that.
Right. I mean,
and like,
I think I've lost 13 deals this year. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. But am I in a position that I'm like, no, because I'm usually pretty on top of what I'm doing as like spending wise. So yeah, it's I don't know. You definitely, yeah, I think excessive spending and all that and not having that plan. Now, I don't think with a budget, like I don't think it needs to be super strict where it's like, but I do think that there needs to be a plan in place, because that takes away from you to being able to have a little bit of freedom with it.
I think the fixed expenses is what like kills everybody, man.
Yeah.
It's like it's the cars, it's the subscriptions, it's it's like the things that are like guaranteed to come out every month, like that shit. Because like you think about like okay, all right, I'll get the other streaming service. It's only $20 a month, but when you do that fucking 8 times, like there's $160 a month. Okay, that's significant. Like, and you're like, okay, well, how many times a month am I really getting on fucking Disney Plus to watch, or whatever it is? Like, there's always something that you can kind of cut out. And I did that like a few months ago. Like I got that Rocket Money app, which was pretty cool because it basically like links all of your bank accounts and credit cards and like just shows you all the shit that you're paying for in your life. And you're like, oh fuck, I had no idea that I was paying for that like subscription. Well, let me fucking get rid of it. And it's cool because you can like get rid of them all in the app, which is cool. Like you can cancel everything like through the app, which is pretty cool. And because there was like 2 or 3 subscriptions that I was paying for that like I totally bought and just forgot about, and I was spending like $20 a month on. And I was like, okay, well, this is stupid. I'm not using this. And like, there's a lot of shit in your life. I'm sure if I really wanted to fucking whittle it down even more, I certainly could. But like, I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there that are probably spending a lot of month that they don't even know about. Right. Because like, how many people really go through and check, their bank statements line by line every month? Very few people. I know I don't. Right.
And that's the thing too, is like, I don't know if it's just me because of the line of work that I'm in, but I'm constantly getting ads on Instagram and all that for like budgeting. I know, because I talk a lot about it with clients and how to you. and how to like talking to client. I talk to clients about it a lot, especially ones that are, buying those first homes, like, educating them through the process. It's not just, hey, here's a pre-approval letter. Oh, I can approve you, but is that really going to be smart for you to do that? And that's why I ask certain questions that aren't on the application, and I find out what their goals are and what they're comfortable with paying per month, because odds are I'm going to be able to find out, pre-approve them for more than what they're comfortable with. Do I tell them? I'm like, yeah, you're more than qualified for what it is you're wanting to buy in the mortgage world, but that doesn't mean that that's what you should do. Right. Because we're looking at stuff before taxes, before deductions, before all that stuff. What you're throwing in your retirement. If you're not paying yourself, pay yourself. So
100%, dude. Or your turn. Sorry.
Fatherhood is the ultimate leadership test. what's the hardest leadership moment you faced as a dad when you realized your reaction mattered more than your words?
Man, hardest leadership moment. I mean, it's hard to pick like just one specific instance.
Right.
Oh man. I mean, I think something I'm kind of going to the second half of that when I realized my reaction mattered more than my words. Like, and that's something I've realized, honestly, like I feel like I've gotten way better at this year, and I think it's due to the meditation practices I've been doing, because I've been really fucking disciplined with that. And which is like, I think is like made me way more calmer when like shit happens. Like this was probably it was probably about a week ago, and I like snapped it. Like Gina asked me to do something, or we were arguing about something, and it was something stupid, and I like snapped and like, like kind of, no, it's not how that goes. It goes like that, it was something like that, and I was like, whoa, why did I do that? I was like, I haven't snapped like that in a while. Like, why am I feeling this way? And like, but before I would have just fucking done it and not thought about why am I acting like this? And I think that like that is just kind of a whole frame here for like my that is kind of how you do it with the kids too, is like when your kids are frustrating you, or they're, asking you a million fucking questions, or, dad, you got to realize that like, okay, how I respond to him my response is not as important as how I respond. And I think that has been a big like growing piece for me, is like, okay, it's not what I say, it's how I say it in response to him. I think that's the more important thing, because like if he's asking me like just some silly questions, like, hey, what did the monster when we went and saw Monster Jam, what trick did he do? If I said, Calvin, I don't fucking know, like, buddy, dude, I don't remember. Do you remember? Like, what do you remember? What do you remember him doing?
Right.
It's like, that is such a much better reaction. It sounds so silly and so like duh, but like when you're in the fucking thick of it,
oh, for sure,
it's hard to think about
Absolutely.
like that kind of thing. You get so overwhelmed and overloaded with like all the things you got to be doing, man. You got to keep them alive. You got to fucking like that's like that. It's hard. It
for
really
sure.
is. Being a dad it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
For sure.
Like it's no joke.
Yeah. And that's one thing too. I mean, having it all on me for the days that I have them.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, like I said, the biggest, my divorce, I can keep talking about, but it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because it forced me to look back and realize, like I always say with Jocko's quote, well, as a leader, my action or inaction is either going to result in some sort of outcome or consequence. Well, in my inaction as a husband, as a father, led to things that led to the divorce, and I had to own that. And because of that, I had to go and make changes. And the biggest thing now is, one, I get to spend more time with the time that I have my kids, like right now, even though it's half the time, I have more quality time with my kids now than I did when I was married and had them all the time.
Well, you're forced to be present whenever you're with them.
100%.
Just you.
Right.
Like I can rely on, if me and Gina are both there, and like I gotta, if I get a phone call or I get something or I gotta go do something, like I can rely on her. And like I just think about how stressful that would be if it was just me. And like kudos to you and all the other single dads out there, because like that's
single parents as a whole.
Yeah, single parents as a whole, I should say. Yeah. It's just it's fucking tough.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I'm fortunate that I have a good relationship with my ex and her fiance, that, if there are times where I'm like, hey, I'm running late, meeting ran long, are you able to pick up the boys? Because they live right next to the school, that they're able to do that. And then I can just get over there and pick the kids up after that. Like, hey, I'm not going to be I'm going to be late to getting them, but I can probably pick them up in like the next 15, 20 minutes. It's just, I'm not going to be there right at pickup time. And they'll, oh yeah, not a problem. They'll run over and get them, but ultimately, like that's the biggest thing for me was, also routine. Like how much kids need routine. And for the longest time, like I got away from my morning routine, and it was just pure chaos.
You're waking up just being reactive.
Right. And now, like, mornings are much more calm. You know, we're getting to spend more quality time together in the mornings. You know, we're doing things, we're brushing our teeth together, you know, getting them showered and getting them ready. And, you know, Oliver now, it's funny because, you know, he's like, Dad, I want a haircut like yours. So now he, you know, him, and we look even more alike. So now it's like styling his hair and stuff like that, showing him how to do it.
Cool.
Yeah, of course.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember I remember there being like a point where like, I remember when we were kids, like spiking up the front of your hair.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Oh yeah.
I remember like when I was like told Mom that's just like the front, you
Yeah.
had that like fucking skateboard ramp in the front, you know?
Everything else was like slick, like combed forward.
And then you just like scoop the front. Yeah. I had that look for a little bit. And I remember like I remember my mom like buying me hair gel and shit, you know? Like I remember like her like helping me with it in the fucking mirror. Like, dude, it's just funny, you know?
But yeah, those moments, those little moments, I mean, you know, you're as a dad, I mean, they see everything, they hear everything. And, you know, that's one thing that I've always thought and like kept in my back of my mind is like, if my kids were to, like, when my kids are older, I want them to look back and be proud that I'm their dad. Like, I don't want them to be like, oh yeah, that's my dad. But, you know, I want them to be excited about that. And it takes being a good leader and pointing them in a direction to better themselves. Like we mentioned before, we want our kids to be better than we are. And so, you know, putting that ego aside and realizing or understanding it, like, hey, I'm not the best. But teaching that to my kids so they can learn to be better and leading them in that direction. So,
yeah, it's good. Most men are one bad month away from panic. Why do you think so many capable men are living one unexpected expense away from stress overload?
I think it goes back to the discipline. Yeah. It goes back to that. I think, and the keeping up with the Joneses and having this image, you know, of what they want people to think their life is really like. And, you know, is it worth it? You know, is it worth losing who you are as a person? And ultimately, yeah, you know, you put yourself in bad situations and the debt and things keep piling up and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, hey, here we are.
Yeah.
I didn't get paid this month. Fuck, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, I feel like as a society, like the expectation is to be average. Well, and if we really boil it down, the average American is overweight, divorced, and has less than $1,000 in the bank. And so, like, I think we need to set that bar a lot higher.
For sure.
You know, you pass in school for getting an average, a C average, you know, gets you passing, but like that doesn't like live. That doesn't, you know, living an average life isn't an exceptional life,
right?
You know, and like, and exceptional is it's totally relative, and like, you know, exceptional to me is, you know, different from exceptional to you. Like we all have our own kind of definition of that, but like, I think that if we, you know, kind of got away from like just seeing like, you know, being average is just the norm or the expectation, like I think we should all kind of expect more from ourselves. And I think it kind of boils down to like, you know, personal like standards and drive and like just to be one expense away from like everything going awry, like, man, I think that's a failure in preparation. You know, like you need to be ready for, you know, always kind of have, you know, some money set aside. Like I think having that like emergency fund is huge. Mm-hmm. Having a couple months saved up as far as like months of your bills saved up, that like if something were to go wrong, like if I didn't sell a house for a month or two, like, you know, we've got enough set aside that we'll be okay. Like I'll be able to figure out how to sell more houses in that time. Right. And I mean, thankfully we do have 2 incomes as well. So it's like, I think that, yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm with you on that one. It's just, it's sad that that's where things have gotten. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, with, like you mentioned before, the ease of everything, how easy it is to get something, you know, shit. I mean, all you got to do is get on your phone and click a button. Something is delivered to you in 24 hours. Like it's easy. Yeah. and the ease of opening up a credit card and getting a credit card and having that ability to, and not people don't know how to use it. I see it daily.
Yeah.
You know, like how little knowledge there is about that. And
Wait,
how
they're charging me interest for this?
oh, right? Yeah.
Wait, that money I spent didn't have a cost. That it has a cost.
Yeah, yeah. That I mean, I got to pay that back. Oh, yeah. It's not free money.
Yeah.
You know, make those payments. Yeah, but you know, there's smart ways of doing it, and there's not smart ways of doing it, and you know, it's just one of those things. And I'll be honest. There's been times where I've gotten caught up in it, but then it's like taking a step back, and I'm like, man, that was really fucking dumb. But again, goes back, no one's saving me. I got to learn for myself, and that's where we're at. But let's see here. Discipline will cost you your friends. Why does upward mobility often destabilize existing social hierarchies within a peer group?
Yeah. I mean, I would never say like I've like cut anybody off, but like I certainly spend more time with people. I've, over the last 7 years, ever since I got into the real estate industry, kind of since I really got into like the whole personal development side of things, and like really honestly getting into jiu-jitsu was kind of all around that same time. And that also kind of helped frame my kind of group of friends that I have now, just because I getting into jiu-jitsu was such a diverse group of people. But one thing I've found that every single one of them is like successful in some sort of way. Like it takes, at least if you've made it, through, somewhat through the ranks in jiu-jitsu, like it takes a big level of discipline to get there. And so like, I think that like if you've made it to like, even let's just say blue belt, like that took 2 years of you at least dedicating to this fucking sport and coming in here and getting your fucking ass kicked. And like that takes an exceptional kind of person. And like that, I think surrounding myself with like those exceptional people that are willing to go through adversity, like that's what I've like gravitated toward more versus like cutting off people that are not, doing the things that I like or the things that I'm like accustomed to doing at this point. But like I could see how but there's always that draw to like go back and like, cause like I still am friends with a lot of those guys, but like I just don't spend as much time with them. And like, there's that draw to like go hang out and drink or go to the bar, or go do whatever. Like, and I'm like, okay, where is this going to get me? Like, where am I, like, is future Zach going to be proud of what he did tomorrow? Is he going to wake up and feel great and want to go do all the things that he's used to doing? Like after I spend the whole night drinking, like, no, I know I'm not gonna that's one thing I've realized in my age, like as how just alcohol, man, fucking affects me so much. I am such a baby the next day after drinking. And even like the other night we went to that concert, and I think I had 3 drinks the whole night. And so I was not like drunk by any means, but like even the next day, like I just felt this, like I was a little off, felt a little like anxious, a little like, man, what am I like? Why do I feel off right now? And I'm like, because I didn't have that like hangover feeling, but I'm like, I just feel a little off. Like I'm not my normal self. And, and just alcohol really it's not good for you.
No.
Like as much as we like it.
Right.
And, I'm not at a point where I'm going to say like, I'm not going to drink ever again, but like, I realize now that there is a cost to it.
Oh,
like
for sure.
I'm taking fun away. I'm stealing fun from tomorrow, basically, is kind of how I look at it.
Right.
Like if I'm drinking today, well, future Zach's going to be, he's not going to be his 100% self tomorrow. And that's depending on what I got to do the next day. Like that'll depend on whether I drink or not. You know? Like
I get it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it, I don't know if it actually will cost you friends or just change who your friends are. Like you were mentioning, your friend group, you've leveled up in your friends. And if the friends that you do have are good friends, they're going to level up with you. I can go back and look, like my closest friends from high school, they're all doing very well. They're all like, and these were like five of my closest buddies. Now, are we as close as we were back then? Absolutely not. Life takes us in different directions, but I still talk to these guys. I still see these guys. We still do things that it's not like we're hanging out all the time or talking all the time like we used to and planning things like we used to. But when we do have big events and we do big things, like, we're together. And that's the thing, is those guys from high school are the same way. Same thing with my buddies from college. Now, I don't know if it has to do with because everybody that I was with, were Division I baseball players, but everyone that I know that I played baseball with and that we're friends with are successful in what they're doing.
Exceptional people.
Yeah. And and now in this phase of my life, my friendships again have evolved and changed. It's just I'm adding more people that are of the same mind and wants and that I am. Like, they want to continue to get better. They want to continue to improve themselves. And it's one of those things where, like I said, I'm fortunate that most of my longest and oldest friends were of that same mindset and have continued to grow and get better and do those things too. So, and I've been very fortunate in that. But like I said, I think life will change situations, and like you said, you're still friends with the people that you're just not as you're not as close.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like I don't talk to them every day like we used to.
No, and that's the thing, is like some of them you don't
but
need.
When we get together though, it's like things have never changed.
Right,
and so
same.
like that's what I love too. It's like I hung out with some of my college buddies over like the Christmas break, and like my one buddy who was like my roommate all 4 years in college, like. Like we get together and it's like we're talking like we're fucking sitting in the dorm room again.
Right.
Like like little inside jokes that I haven't said in a year or two since I've seen him.
Right.
Like, just like come back and like we're just saying stupid shit to each other like we were in college. And it's like, man, I haven't said that in forever. Like that inside joke. Like, oh fuck, I haven't thought about. It's like those are the best, is when you get with someone and it's like all this time hasn't passed. We're like right back to where we were in fucking 2013.
Well, I will say, I think that is a big difference between men and women. I feel, relationship wise, and you can almost see it within marriages and who you're dating. The communication is different. For us, like I said, one of my best friends, we grew up playing baseball together, all that stuff. He played pro ball. I played pro ball. Like, we would disappear for the season for 6 to 8 months and not see each other, talk here and there. But then as soon as we got home, it's like nothing changed, picked up right where we were. And with life now, I mean, he's it's not like he's moved states away. He just lives in Illinois. But I know that anytime we get together, it's like nothing's ever changed. It just picks right back up. And I don't know, like, I've talked to like, that's just like, Melissa always thought that was so weird. And, you talk to some and just like, yeah, no, they have to have that constant communication. They're constantly talking. Like, if they're not talking, then they're not, then she's not my friend. But like, it's okay. You don't have to talk all day, every day. You don't like to maintain that friendship. Like, you can still maintain that friendship. I think, I mean, I don't know.
No, Gina's the same way.
Yeah.
Like, there'll be, I feel like she is always like texting her friends way more than I am. That's for sure.
Right.
Like I spend a lot of time on my phone, like texting people, but it's like 80% of the time it's work related.
Right.
It's either like work or podcast related. And like, I mean, and I think that like, like wears me out that like, oh God, I don't feel like just like randomly texting my buddy on a Tuesday. Like, hey man, how's your day?
Right.
Like it's like a little weird.
Right.
Like,
well, and that's what's funny. Like, if you go back, like, do you remember the trend where guys would just call their friends like, hey man, I just want to call you and say goodnight.
Yeah. I think that's so funny.
Did you notice how it was all guys?
Yeah.
Because I mean, women are always talking to their friends anyway.
Right.
But like, that's why it's so funny for guys, because it's like, we're going to call our buddy, and that may be weird, but at the end of every call was like, man, it was good to hear from you. I missed you, man. Like, thanks for the phone call. Like, but that's the truth. Like, men's friendships and women's friendships are completely different.
Yeah,
for sure.
100%.
So,
all right, last one.
One here.
All right. Are we raising men or adult boys? Do you think we are removed from too many rites of passage for young men? Like, there's no moment where they're forced to grow up. I mean,
man,
I don't know. I mean,
I think it's changed.
yeah, it's hard because I'm like not really at that point with my boys, but like, I mean, just because they're so young still, but like, I mean, I didn't have like this like grand rite of passage,
I,
like I don't know if you did, but
No.
like, it was no ceremony where
No.
you're a man now.
Yeah.
But like, I think it kind of boils down to kind of what we were talking about before, like with like letting your kids fuck up, letting your kids make some mistakes, letting your kids like not holding their hand through every fucking decision that they make in their entire life. Like they need to make some decisions on their own.
Right.
Like, okay, where do they, if they want to go to school here, if they want to, get a job here, if they want to be friends with this person, if they want to, you gotta let them make these decisions. I think because ultimately if you don't, and you stop them from making these decisions, I think there's going to be a level of resent there. And they're going to always wonder, like, what if I would have went to that school? What if I would have gotten the job there? Like, and if you're waiting for your parents' approval on everything, like, boy, that's like a tough road. I think.
And your parents aren't always right. What makes you think that they're going to make the right decision for you?
Right.
And, like I just had to I went through this with Connor and Oliver, because with baseball, Oliver got asked to play on Connor's baseball team. So I asked both of them. I was like, Connor, how do you feel about Oliver being on your baseball team? Oliver, do you want to play on Connor's baseball team, or do you want to play for the other team with your friends from kindergarten? And Oliver's like, no, I want to play on Connor's team. And Connor was like, no, I don't want him on my team.
Oh, really?
And so I'm like, all right, well, Oliver, why do you want to play on Connor's team? And he gave us a very good reason. Because he's like, I just feel like I'll get better. I was like, that's fair. Playing against older kids, odds are your learning curve is going to have to speed up. Do you feel like you can handle that? Yeah, I do. Cool. Connor, why don't you want Oliver being on here? Because I'm afraid he's going to get hurt. I was like, is that the only reason that you're worried about him playing?
Like the sweetest little kid.
Dude.
I swear to God.
He's like,
I cannot imagine any that coming out of my son's mouth.
He's like, I was like, is that really the only reason that you're worried that he's going to get hurt? And he's like, well, yeah. He's like, we're playing against 8U. He's like, I'm 7, so I'm going to be playing up, and he's going to be playing up 2 years. And I'm worried that someone's going to hit a ball at him and he's not going to be able to field it and he's going to get hurt. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. But don't you think that we should ask Ollie if he's afraid of getting hurt before we do that? And he's like, well, yeah. I was like, well, ask him. Ollie, are you afraid of getting hurt? No. He's like, Ollie's not afraid of anything. And so we had that discussion, and I was like, all right, well, this is your decision. I mean, personally, I wanted Ollie to play on Connor's team just because convenience.
Having both of them play,
yeah, but I'm not right. Exactly,
two different games,
right. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not putting that on them.
Right.
I'm not putting my opinion or what my wants were on that. And ultimately, they talked it out and they made a decision. Ollie's on Connor's baseball team. Yeah, it was great. And so, and I mean, they get into it, but they're very close. And it's one of those things. I mean, like you said, we see it with, parents today. I think each generation and the way that they were raised influences the way they're raising their kids. And, you've got that generation. What was it? Gen Z? That was before us or before millennials? Or was it Gen X?
Gen X was before
us,
right?
Right. Where if you go
Gen Z's behind us, like younger than us.
Yeah. So the group that's older than us is Gen X.
Gen X, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, and they always talk about how rough and tough they were and the shit that they went through and all that. Well, what I've noticed is those parents of those kids who are now, mostly of them are through high school and into college. Those were kind of over from what I've coached in baseball. Those parents were overbearing. They were the ones like, oh, well, they didn't have it, so they're compensating for that. This is what we were raised by parents that, I mean, my generation, my parents, they're boomers, and they were more standoffish because that's how they were raised, so they didn't have that to go with. And I just think just depending on the generation of your parents is going to dictate how you're being parented, and that's going to affect how you parent. I knew that I didn't want to be more like my parents are very logical people, and they instilled that, and they instilled that independence on me. Like, yeah, I want to instill that on my kids, but at the same time, like, I want my kids to know that I'm proud and that I love them. Like, those are things that, you know, emotions from the boomers, that especially the men, like, oh no, that's non-existent. Like, you don't cry. Yeah. Just, you know, wipe some dirt on it. You're good. You know, I want my kids to understand that emotions are important, and understanding what those emotions mean and all that. So I just think, I think the generation that we're in and the kids that we're raising, not so much, but I do think previous generations, like generations that came after us in the way they're being raised, because we see it with work and with coaching, the parents are holding their hands through everything. Right. And I get wanting to protect your kids, but at the same time, like, again, do we want adult boys or do we want to raise men?
Right.
And I also think that goes along with having core values and sticking to those core values and instilling those core values into your children. And I don't think that was a major concept until recently. You know, I don't think, like, I could ask my dad, like, hey, what were your core values? He'd be like, what the fuck's a core value? Yeah. Have you never seen the movie Elemental or whatever? Not Elemental. What's the movie with the
Inside Out?
Yeah. When you haven't seen Inside Out, come on, Dad.
Yeah,
get with the times.
Get with the times.
Have
you seen that Pixar movie? Come on.
Jeez. I mean, cartoons weren't around when you were a kid? Jeez.
Yeah, they just had Looney Tunes.
Yeah. So.
Right. Well, Pat, I think that was a fun one. I feel like I got a lot out of that. So
same.
I hope people enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
Well, thanks to everybody that watched or listened to this episode. If you could, hit that subscribe button for us. Comment what you thought below. And we will see you next time.